Welcome back to the stream where we build a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we got some collision detection done for our map overworld objects, such as the tree here. So we cannot walk over trees anymore, but we can walk a little bit in front of them. So that's what we got done yesterday. Now today, I think we're going to be working on... We want to get our animations back in our overworld, because these flowers should be animated. Now, I did a little bit of thinking about this, and I think we do want to do this. Hey, Stilkin, good to see ya. How are you doing? So yeah, today we're going to be changing our... I'll show you what our current animation class is like. And I don't like it, but that's okay. We're gonna be rehauling it today, I think. So it's not gonna be a super glamorous day. Like collision detection was kind of easy and kind of fun. This might get a little messy. I think it's called insert animation here, yeah. So we've got an anim spitter function, and it's actually a class, an anim spitter class that takes in the start and end point of an animation, and then a rate for which to animate it, and then it'll spit out the quad number that we're assigning into our flowers. So this is what is so messy. This is what's so messy about how we're currently doing this, is that we've got one insert animation class, and we're kind of manually inserting all the animations depending on the row. So what I really don't like about this is if we continue to go about this route, we might have 100 levels, and let's say we're on map row 1010, which is our 100th level. Every single frame it would ask, hey, is our map row 1? Is our map row 1 in our column 1? No? Okay, well, is our this? So it would be asking 99 questions to get to the bottom where it is actually, okay, we know we're map row 1010, so why don't we go ahead and insert those animations? So this is what we want to change. Now, it's tough because we have to update this anim spitter every frame, because that number has to change so that it can actually animate. But then what we have to do is we have to insert that animated frame either every second or every time it changes. So it gets messy here because we have to insert it. You know, we have to run this insert anim function every delta time. So we do have to kind of, run these functions in delta time, but I don't like the messiness of checking if it's a map row, which map row it is. So I guess the kind of way to get around this would be, like ideally, we're either going to be, for example, if we only have 2 levels and it's 1-1 and 1-2, we have to either update all of these insert anim functions or update all of these insert anim functions. So I guess my question is, can we give our map so are all your animated tiles also sets of 4 in a 2x2? No. Right now we've only got one animated class, and it's flowers that we stole from Link's Awakening, so we have to change what they look like. I just kind of jacked the Link's Awakening sprites because it was easy and it looked good, so I just wanted to see it working. Now, we can go turn that on so we can see it, but basically this anim spitter, all of our tiles are 16 by 16, so this anim spitter will just take the quad of whatever starting sprite it is, whatever starting tile sprite it is, and then whatever end sprite it is. This one just happens to be 4. But our anim spitter class will take how many things there are, and it'll loop it. It would be good to make a standard to make it easier to loop through. Well, our anim spitter knows how many frames it needs to loop through, so it is kind of deferred to this anim spitter class. So looping through isn't the hard problem. It's really just inserting at certain locations which anim we want. Because right here, you know, we're inserting the last parameter is anim, and that's what our tile ID is going to be, and that's exactly what the anim spitter spits out, is the frame of our current animation. So I'll show you guys what the current setup looks like. So like right now it's not animating, it's just a still flower there because we hard code in the first frame of the flower. But if we take a look at our map, I believe we should have, yeah, right here, we've got an update to our insert animations. Now our self.insert animations is a instantiation of this insert animation at the current row and column. So let's see if that gets us animation back, and it does. Now we're putting a flower right over the tree, which isn't correct. It's how it used to be, but this is one of the downfalls of the way we're going to be doing it is, and I still don't know, I did do some thinking about this. If we look at our map declarations, you know, we've got our flower here, and we should have another, see, we don't have another flower where that is. This would be the space that flower is, but our insert anim function is actually overriding it. So I can show you, if we walk off screen and come back, that flower won't be there until we finish transitioning. So see, those flowers are animating, but watch for the flower over the tree. It's not there, and then it becomes there. So that tells me that our insert anim function is just putting it in the wrong spot. So this is the one thing I don't like about this approach, is that ideally I'd like to just say, hey, populate this map with a flower, and that flower updates over time so that it animates. But what I don't like about that idea is we have to manually reassign every single other sprite, every single frame for the table. So that's why I came up with this insert anim function that is like, just tell me what animation we need to insert, tell me where to insert it, and we'll just plop it on there. So what we can do is, at least for now, we can go check out our map, and instead of putting our insert, actually it's in our insert animation. Yeah, instead of putting it at 5.5, let's put it at 5.7. And then it should be just outside the tree. So it's no longer over the tree, but here's the other thing is, this is part of the tricky one, is like, now that we moved to that, but our global map tiles doesn't know that exists. So it'll be gone until we come off of a transition. So it's gone, we stop a transition, then it appears there. So what I had to do, like for the top flower over there, is I tell the map, hey, just put frame 1 of a flower baked in on that next map. And anytime we load a transition, the next map knows all the tiles. So we're assigning it there. So this is what kind of sucks about putting it, is that we'd have to manually put in, hey, where do we put these things? But we'd have to remember, okay, well, let's go to our collidable map object, or go to our map declarations, and remember to put in the corresponding first frame to that animation, which is a flower. And now it'll still look normal here animation wise, but if we walk off and come back on, the flower will be there. And then it'll start animating when we're done transitioning. So that's one thing I don't really like about it, but at the end of the day, we can kind of just get our animations working, and then all we have to do is like worry about our level design, and then once we're locked in with our level design, we can go ahead and manually adjust all of the first frame animations to be actually our insert animation updates. But this is something I want to fix because it was kind of bugging me yesterday, and we kind of just need to get working on it. So I'm curious how it'll go. Well, so like, let's think about this. If right now our insert animation is a class that takes in a map row and a map column. Then we have an object for the anim spitters. Can you just check on game load what locations on the screen contains a tile with ID whatever flower tile ID, and for each of those, set the static image for frame 1. Yeah, I guess we technically could. Like, we could put in like a see, because like the tricky thing is we would need to update our map every single delta time. Well, I guess, yeah, because you're saying we can kind of, like, if we had like a placeholder animation ID for the tile ID, and then we go through all the maps and say, hey, if this ID is flower, then go ahead and put in the quad to the corresponding updating flower quad, like our appropriate anim spitter for our flower, and only overwrite the tiles that do have an animation in it. That does make that. I think that would work. Yeah, I think that would work. That's a good idea. I guess, yeah, I mean, you know, that's a good idea. So I guess one thing with that is that we don't really care about all the animations for every other map other than the ones that are like right around us, right? So like if we're inserting into our map tables, like you said, on game load, but then we would have to update the current map and the next map with whatever tile IDs are animated. Yeah, let me think about that. That is a good idea. I think that would work. Let me think, because then I guess we would have a... See, and then another part of it is like, how do we decide how to declare what type of animation goes in what tile on what map, right? So it's like we have to say, even if we have the placeholder for the animation, maybe we have like the first quad of our flower. We know that if it's a flower, then we need to go replace it with a flower anim spitter number. Yeah, let me think about that. Because I'm trying to, and then that does kind of get around our problem of having to kind of program it, in the sense that we have to program it for the insert animation and then program the first frame in our map declarations. Because it would be nice. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Stoken. I think that's a good idea. Occlusion culling, I've never heard that. Occlusion culling, where it only affects things that are visible. Yes. So like we would only be updating our map declarations, our global map table for the current map and the next map, because the next map gets populated once we're in a transition, which we would still need to put in, you know, the animation, albeit it'll probably be just the first frame. Yeah, I think I like this idea, Stilkin. Yeah, Lua does have dictionaries, so everything in Lua is a table. So how you would do a dictionary is something like, you would have a table like this, and then you would say in your table you get a key of like this. A key of 1 gets the number 1, something like that. So like this is the equivalent of a key value pair. Yeah, exactly. Key value pair in Lua. And that's actually how we're doing, that's how we're defining our entities. We take a look at our entity defs. We do something like that. You know, our walk right animation has got some frames, an interval, and a texture. Okay. Yeah, Stilkin, I like your thinking on this. I think you're exactly right. I was thinking of trying something totally different, but it doesn't have the benefit of your idea, which is we can just code it once inside our map declarations, and then for every current map we'll cycle through and see which ones have an animation, and then we'll insert it. So I mean, I guess that, and there's you know, like, for example, if we don't have any animations in the scene, then we would be checking every of our 80 frames, of our 80 tiles, every frame to see if there's an animation or not. But we could just do that in the map init. Say, hey, give me all the tiles that are in animation, and then go ahead and update all of our anim spitters for each relevant animation, and then go ahead and overwrite every one of those animations at their original X and Y for that map. So I think this is the way to do it. That's a very good idea. Okay, so let's take a look at our map declarations, and just so we can get an idea. Now I had this map table a constant, like in the sense that I all uppercased it, but since the animations are not constant, I think it's fine we just keep it all uppercase like that. I think that's okay. But yeah, let's see if we can figure this out, like where we say, if this is a flower on our map init, which we only do once upon the init, we'll say, we'll cycle through, pull out every animation. Then I guess we have to decide how to track which ones are animated. So like we can say, if the value is equal to the string flower, we know it's an animated flower. So I guess we have to kind of figure out what we want to do with that in order to kind of pull them out. And then I don't know if we store them, I guess, yeah, because we would need to be able to store. Okay, let's just try to build it and we'll see what stuff we run into. So I think what I want to do first is just unupdate our flowers that are there so that we don't accidentally think we're succeeding before it actually works. So we'll go to our map, and then yeah, let me do a grep search for a insert animations. Yeah, it is here in our map. So we're just not gonna update this here anymore. And then we're gonna not give us this anymore. So we might get rid of this insert animation class altogether, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So I'm trying to think of how, like, we want to be able to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, we're taking care of that. As long as we pull out the animations, as long as we have, and we can do something similar like we're doing with our map object table. Like if we put all of our animations all on the same two rows, all we have to do is check the ID. But then it's different because we need the range of the animations. We do need a starting range and an end range. Dude, did you just buy Mewtwo? Oh, that is sick, dude. Oh, that's cool. Yo, that's legit. How much did he cost? Was he 150? That's sick. I think that makes me want to be 250. Okay, dude, dang, you've been saving up. Yeah, you've been destroying the gold game here, dude. Okay, there we go. We got we got all purple Pokemon on screen now. That dude, Mewtwo looks really sick. Stilkin, you look cool too, but yeah, Mewtwo's looking really hot right now. Here you guys go, get those. Okay. So yeah, we might do away with this insert animation function altogether. We do need to do something similar, because if we take a look at our insert animation, it is literally inserting the animation at the proper space. So let me think. Yeah, let's just build it one part at a time, and we'll go to our map. And our current map, actually our scene has reference to our current map and our next map. So upon a map init, this is where we would want to pull in all of the potential animations. So we can cycle through all of the map values of our map declarations, and we need to check it if it's an animation or not. Now, right now, the only idea I have is to check it by string, because we don't have any integer declarations for it, or whatever you want to call it. So we can do for I gets 1, comma, and it's a 10 by 8, so we would go through 80, do we would want to ask if the map at the index of, and you know what, we got to do a nested for loop, so we've got to go for I gets 1 for the map height, do a map column amount of things, which is a j gets 1, comma, map width. Yeah, Mewtwo's looking sick, dude. That's really cool. And he's already at the slots. Dude, 60 on the slots? Oh, man. Dude, if you would have hit a 777 on a 60 slots, that's okay, dude. Here. Yeah, everyone can do a 60 slot right now on AKA Bob's dime right here. Come on, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Yo, I won big. Hey, Stilkin's even doing it. Aw, man, sorry, dude. Dude, I got 120. Got 120. Oh man, it's fun. What? I really like the stream avatars. Hey, there you go. Oh, you just won. What the heck? You just won what you put in? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna cycle through all of our maps, and we're gonna go a map row and a map column, and we're gonna check if that value. We also need another variable. This is wrong. We don't want this. What we want is, we want to cycle through every value of our current map and our next map ultimately. But so we want to do for I gets 1, comma, is it 80 or 60? I think it's 10 by 8. Let me see. I think it's a 10 by 8. Do we? want to say it's 8 by 10 screen. So we have a total of 80 tile IDs. The scene init does not happen on every transition. The scene is kind of like what we're currently looking at. So the scene is the current map and maybe the next map if we're in a transition, but the scene init happens once in our play state, I'm pretty sure. And then we just update our scenes dot current map depending on a transition or not. So Stilkin, you have a game dev background, or do you have your own projects you're working on? See, and we've got a current dot row. This is what we want to do. Our current map. Oh, and this isn't map.row. It would be our current map.map_row, I think. Okay. That's cool. I like Unreal. Like, I mean, I like the demos I've seen and stuff. I've just never tried it. So if we take a look at our map class, I just want to make sure that our row is in fact called a .map row. It is just a row and just a column. So we should be able to say self.currentMap.row, then self. Okay, yeah. Dude, yeah, I feel ya, because, like, I've only done Love2d and Lua programming for games, so I feel like I haven't really branched out to try anything different, but at the same time, it's like, this is getting... This has all the tools that I want to be practicing, so, like, I'm not into 3D. I just want to kind of be able to ship a 2D game first before I worry about 3D if I'm going to, but game programming is hard enough. I feel like 2D is plenty difficult. So we're going to cycle through all of our current map objects. See, and then if we do the three-dimensional array here at the location I, we can test if that is equal to an animation, which at the moment, I don't know if we can say, I don't know if we can just say flower or if we have to give it a string called flower, but we can say if the map is equal to the value flower, then what? We need to, I guess at this point we need to keep track of, I think we need to keep track of which frames in our current map need an animation and what animation it is. Can you check if it is another enum or animatable that would contain water, flower, or whatever? You know, I don't know what enum is. I can Google it. I'm not sure Lua has a enum type. So it's kind of like a bunch of different values you could possibly be. Is that what it is? Okay. Okay, so yeah, because the flower is a number like 12 or whatever. Here, let's see. Come on, man. Does it say? I know my LSP will... Oh, there we go, enum, yeah. It doesn't tell me what it is. But if I go to definition, it'll tell me there, right there. It's 1012, oops. Okay, cool. So you're saying, can you check if if it is in another enum that would contain, yeah. I'm not sure, because like, yeah, see, because I don't want to have to say if is flower, if is water, if is something. Each time you need that tile number, you can just type flower. Yeah, that's the goal. Just that number needs to update over time. And it needs to update. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Stilken. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. So like, I just need my enum to be updated over time, just through those 4 frames, and we just place it like we are in our map declarations, and then it'll auto update. So have an enum called animatable that contains that stuff. See, and I'm not sure. See, now I'm kind of thinking we don't even need to go that far into it. Like, let's just turn our enum into, instead of the 1 value for flower, it actually is a value that changes over time, like our anim spitter. So we would need to set our flower not to a hard-coded constant, but to be the anim spitter. Which we don't even need it to spit out at a certain X and Y. We just need it to go, you know, up to a certain number and then loop it. Let's try that. Let's say flower is no longer 1012. Now we can't do it here in our constants because we're not updating our constants. So we'd have to do it somewhere else and make sure constants has access to it, or we can just add updating to our constants, which doesn't make a lot of sense semantically, but yeah, like, yeah, I think I like the animatable idea. So what we can do is go ahead and where our constants are, which is here in our main source, we're going to make a new file called animatables. Thanks to Stilken. Animatables, and it's gonna be we need it to update. If they were in an enum, you could in your loop check if a given frame is in animatable or whatever ID is, and if it is, save it to animate. So I'm kind of thinking like we don't even need to go that far. We just need to give us, I think we just need to give us our flower. I guess by definition is enum a value that doesn't change. Because I'm thinking we just update our flower enum to be the number of the animation, and then we kind of just put it how we currently are, which is in our map declarations. Okay. See, I mean, I trust you. I've never done that stuff. I've never, I mean, I guess I just don't know what it's called, but you're saying we could, in the loop check, given frame is animatable. Okay, well, let's try it. Let's try it the simple way I'm thinking of doing it, and then once it works, and if there's a smarter way to refactor it to make it look prettier, like you're saying in like a whole enum table. But this is kind of like, these animatables is kind of what I'm treating as our enum table for animatables. So we'll just call it animatables. We'll give it an init. I don't think it, well, I guess it would need it, but let's go ahead and give us an update function. Animatables. Update with delta time. Now we need to make sure to actually update with this with delta time. Maybe in our play state we would be doing this. And then we don't need to worry about the render, because all we need to do is get the right tile ID, and our map and our scene will take care of the rendering. So we shouldn't have to do that. So let's go ahead and, instead of our flower being where it used to be, we'll init the first frame of our animatables here, and we'll say flower is our 1012 or whatever it was. I don't remember. Let's see, in our constants, flower was 1012. I remembered it. So like it would init as that, but then in update we would have here called we would have a function called like animate or whatever. I feel like we have another function called just animate, so I kind of want to just call it animate animatables. That's so stupid. But we would see, and then this is where you're getting at too with like not every animatable is 4 tiles wide or 4 frames, you know, so how would we, and if we take a look at my insert animation, we might just repurpose this because or our anim spitter. Let's just look at our anim spitter and see what it is. Okay, so an anim spitter takes, see, okay. Yeah, you know what? I think we just need to repurpose our anim spitter. What we can do is just kind of snag this idea. Well, okay, so yeah, we do need a starting quad and ending quad and a timer threshold. You could technically have each animatable tile ID in a table with a value of its animation length. Yeah, like a definitely. Now, I think before it's hard because it's like the more separate you want to build things, like the more work you have to do. So I'm kind of just trying to get it to work first, and then we can make it pretty. But then, so like if we have a starting quad, ending quad, and a timer threshold, yeah, you know what? Let's just keep our anim spitter, and we'll just give our flower enum the result of the frame of our anim spitter. I think that makes sense because like we've already got that logic working for our flower, and it's through our anim spitter. So if we go at our animatables, where did we not save our animatables? Okay, I guess we didn't save our animatables, but how about, okay, so yeah, let's go look at our anim spitter again. Let me harpoon it so we have access to it. Now I want to see actually the instantiation of it, which is in our map. It's in our insert animations. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've already got the flower updating. We just need to assign our flower enum to be this anim spitter, and I think it's that simple. Yeah, with a value. Yeah, and the thing is, it needs a reference to the quad numbers as well, because it needs to know which numbers to cycle through, which is kind of the result of why I put this anim spitter function in there. But I do like that idea because then we can kind of pull it out like we do with our entity defs, where we can say a flower type has this frame, and an interval, and then we kind of declare it all in one spot, and then our anim spitter would just kind of do its thing. But let's see here. My brain is like stretched really thin right now. I'm trying to try to get this one thing working, and I don't even know what page I'm looking at. We want to go to our animatables, which we don't have harpooned, so we'll harpoon that first. Now, we want our flower variable to be an animSplitter object. And all an animSplitter object is a number of whatever animation. So if we were to here in our update, and since our animSplitter has an update function, we would I think all we have to do is just call update on it. And then pass in delta time. So I guess the question is, does this flower now become updated with 1012 to 1015 and loop back to 1012? Let's see if we even crash. Map 30 is crashing us. 30. Huh. Oh. No, this doesn't make sense to me. Why would we crash at map 30? All we did was change our flower. We took out our flower constant, but why would that make us crash? Huh. Why would taking out our flower constant... Oh, because we're actually drawing stuff out of flower. Okay, so... Well, we aren't actually updating our animatables. So as long as we... Like, in our animatables, we're updating our flower, but we're never updating our animatables. So we need to make sure our play state, either our play state or our scene would have an animatables. Now I guess if, I don't know, I guess play state makes sense. Where is our play state? We don't have it. Okay, let's go ahead and give us animatables here. And we're gonna go ahead and give us a animatables. Well, I guess this isn't a class. Animatables isn't a class. I think it might need to be. Well, no, it doesn't really make sense that we would need it to be a class. This is just the only way I know how to do this. So class curly braces, and then we're able to update and init all that stuff. So we would go animatables, and we can just call it like that, and it'll give us our. Okay, do we have our flower turned off? No. So why are we crashing? Oh, we need to require our animatables is what we're not doing. Okay, so we would need to require... Okay, now... Okay, cool. So I want to print up the value of flower at this point and see if it's the value we need, and then we might actually be good. So what this would do is even if our scene or map has no animated objects, it would still be keeping track of and updating all of our animatables. but that's really not that big of a deal to be checking, versus reassigning every single of our 80 tile IDs, every single frame. That's not a big deal. So let's see if our flower is actually being updated. Now, in our animatables, we're updating our flower, and our flower is an anim spitter object. So yes, let's see if flower is being updated. So we don't need this. We want to go to our play state. We need to update this animatables object in our play state. So that should hopefully give us the updated flower value. Put the animatables in a table so that they are only affected on update. Yes. Well, so you're saying instead of a class, put them into a table. But yeah, because a table can hold an anim spitter object. So yeah, that could work. But we do need to, I guess, yeah, then we would update every value in the table. Let's try this first, and we'll see if declassifying it makes sense. But yeah, I think you're onto something there. So we're updating our animatables. Okay, so let's just print up our flower and see what is up. So we'll say love.graphics.draw, and it'll actually be print, and we're going to be printing up our flower. So we're going to concatenate it with our actual flower enum, and then we're going to put it at 5.5, and let's see. Okay, well, what we need to do is, okay, so since flower is a anim spitter object, not a, hash maps and dictionaries are used because they're really fast to fetch data from. That's why you don't have to mess with recreating classes. You just have all of them in a table that will know exactly what tiles are where. Okay, I mean, that sounds legit. I'm just like trying to, I don't know exactly how to think about that just yet. I know why this is printing weird stuff. It's because this would have to actually be a flower at a dot frame. Check that out. So our anim spitter is putting out the correct value into our flower. It's just that, yeah, no, I feel you, man. And if I'm not, like streaming takes a different sort of mental bandwidth to kind of, like, programming is already really tough, but I'm trying to like test out hard programming concepts and learn new programming concepts at the same time, and it's like, it's just a bit too much for me to try to digest. But I will go back and read all this stuff and see if I can internalize what you mean, because I agree with you. It makes sense to kind of separate the data like this, so we only have it in one spot, and then pull the data as we need it. Like, I appreciate all your input because it's been really helping. It's just tough. Yeah, you know, I will probably do that here. I'll probably do that. I'll add that to our list to do, because then we can talk about more stuff like this, and I can plan future episodes and stuff, which could be nice. So I'm thinking now instead of putting the flower in our map declarations, we'd have to put this flower.frame because flower is actually being overwritten in our play state to be a anim spitter, which has a field frame, but it also has a timer threshold and other stuff. So I'm wondering, and I guess it depends on when we first initialize our map. And you know what? Since we do our animatables right off the bat before we update our map, I think. Oh, actually, I don't know. Let's see if we go to our map declarations, and if we put flower.frame here, I think it'll crash because I think as far as our map is concerned, we don't have access to a flower.frame, but let me see. Yeah. Okay. So our map, I wonder if we require our I don't know. I don't really want to require our playstate or anything in there. I think yeah, maybe I'll see if I can put I've never made a group on Discord or anything. So like I have made a Discord because a lot of people on Twitch here have one. So I did make one, but I've never made, it's called add a server. Let's see. Okay. I think I made one. Here, let me try to rename it. Okay, I think I did this. I don't know if I know how to make a channel, so maybe like make a programming channel, make a general, make a what kind of channels should we have in the Discord here? I've got a programming one, a general one, I don't know. Here, so anything related to programming, we can pop here in the programming chat. And then I'll just... How do I share this thing? I am so old. I don't know how to use this. Here, remember? No. No. I would think that the link for this is like right here. Wow. Invite people. Oh, there we go. Send a server invite link to a friend. Okay, let's try that. And we'll put this here in chat. Okay. I think we might have done that. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thanks for that recommendation, Stoken. I think that's a really good idea, and I don't think I would have done it without someone kind of pushing for it, so. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know if that works, or if that doesn't work. I'll figure it out, but that is good. Okay. So our problem here is that our map declarations are trying to index a value that is not defined before we try to assign it. So what is beeping? What is beeping? I feel like this only happened after Discord, but I don't know what is beeping at me. Can Discord run in the back here? Yeah, I don't know how to mute that. That's kind of annoying. Is it? I don't know what that is. Your new server's not muted. Oh god, okay. Here, let me just try to do that real quick. Oh, hey. Hey, thanks for the... What is happening? Is it a raid? Oh, hey. Real Rev is back. Hey, thanks for the raid, man. I really appreciate that. I love the explosions on a raid. That is so much fun. And your Cyndaquil's back. That's awesome, dude. I hope you had a good stream. How'd it go? We are just making our Discord for the first time. So I'm trying to mute the beeps. Deafen, right? Deafen. Okay, I deafened it. But what I don't get is that I didn't have it open. So why was it beeping? Is what I want to know. Okay. Hey, cool. Yeah, you know, I was supposed to check out your channel yesterday, and I totally spaced it. But I will check out your channel and see what you're up to. Yeah, man, 2 raids in a row. Thank you, dude. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm super new to Discord. I only got one because other people on Twitch had one, so I am very new to it. But I just made my first server. If you want to join in and post anything, or like, I'll make a page where people can share their Git repos and their projects and stuff. So I'll just have to get around to updating that. Okay. So as far as our play state is concerned, our flower enum here is getting updated, but our map declarations doesn't recognize our flower.frame as a number. So I guess we need to see where in our play state we kind of define our what's it called? Yeah, let me take a look. Gosh, and as the game grows, it's just harder and harder to know the flow of where everything is. So I'm looking for where we kind of put in our map declarations, and I'm not seeing them really. So I think we're just requiring them in our dependencies. So maybe our... Where is... Yeah, we're just requiring them. So I guess what's happening is that when we require our dependencies, that's assigning the flower number. You can use the map tile swap to set that tile to the ID that keeps changing. Is tile swap a Love2d thing? To set that tile ID that keeps changing. Yeah, I'll look into that. I'm not sure about that. Like is that tile swap function something I'd have to write, or something that's like in part of Love? Okay, I'll have to see. That link kind of broke a bit, but But yeah, just chuck it in the Discord and I'll take a look at it after stream today. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. So here's the problem, is that our dependencies is assigning our map declarations here. And that is before we have access to our animatables. So maybe if we just put our animatables, we take a look at our animatables, this is where we're actually assigning it in AnimSpitter. So if we require our animatables before our dependencies, see, but then it's weird to put dependencies at the end here. So maybe what we'll do is we put our animatables first before, we'll just put our animatables first. Oh man, I got Discord beeping at me still. I hit deafen, but it didn't work. I don't know if there's another setting in there. Right click on the server name and hit mute. Yo, thanks, Real Rev. I appreciate that. Mute server, okay. Does that mute it for everybody, or is that just my settings? I really don't know how that works, but I appreciate you helping me out. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, sweet. All right, I just did it, so thanks. It should not be beeping at me. Okay, I'm curious if... So we're not crashing, but if we go to our map declarations and we go flower.frame now that we've got it after our animatables, we're still not able to do it. So what's weird is our play state does have access to it. Where is our play state? Is right here. So yeah, we're printing up the flower.frame in our play state, and our play state has access to it. Oh, and you know what? It's because we're not updating it. Well, our animatables doesn't actually get instantiated until our our play state init. And that happens well after we kind of include all those things. So it's almost like we need to do... It's almost like we needed to do our animatables before and outside of our play state so that our dependencies has access to that value that's changing. But yeah, well, okay, we're getting close. It's just that yeah, it's we can't, you know, we don't have the flower.frame until this animatables object gets made at the moment. Which means we can't put it in our map declarations. Until after this is made. So can we give ourselves like a global kind of in our play state or in our main? Maybe in our main we define the init, but that we still require it before. Gosh, I don't want it to get so messy like this, like we kind of require our dependencies after our animatables is made, but I don't know what else to try. We'll see if it works, and if it doesn't, we can go back to the drawing board here. But we want... Let's go to our main. So our main here, where do we require our dependencies? We do it right away, right off the bat. Okay, so if we take out, let's say we do just our main dependencies and we don't require our map constants just yet. But we would need to because we change it to play state already, so shoot. I guess if we take our map declarations out of our dependencies, we can then put it as part of our see, how would we add it? Okay, so the first thing we're doing in our main is requiring our dependencies, which right now is where our flower is being assigned, but not the correct flower.frame of our anim spitter that we're trying to update over time. Is there a way to update our map or yeah, we want to just declare our map declarations after our I don't know. I guess I'm curious. Does it make any sense to put a require in our love.load function? Or like would that not even work? Like, I don't know if this works kind of like C header files or anything, like if it kind of just copies and pastes all the prototypes, or if it's a totally different thing. Like, I'm curious if this crashes. Well, that crashes, but for the old way. Because I'm kind of thinking we take our map declarations out of dependencies, we just have our map declarations. And then what we do is before we change to our play state, we go ahead and load our map declarations. No. We'd have to init our animations, and my Discord's still beeping. maybe it's other channels that are beeping at me. I'll just mute them all real quick. Okay, I see the little button there that shows that my server is not muted. So I think my other servers were beeping. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking now we would in our main.load before our play state, because our play state renders our maps and everything, which we need the updated. We actually need just an instantiated flower.frame at that point. So we would need to assign our anim spitter for our animatables before our play state here. And then in our play state, we can go ahead and update those animatables. I think that'll work. We would just have to require our map declarations after we give ourselves that animatable. So the first thing we do in our play state is require our map declarations. I think that's the move. So I think in our dependencies, yeah, okay. I think in our dependencies, we can take out our map declarations because we don't want to assign that to flower. We want to assign it to flower.frame, which we don't have until we have an animatable. So we would take that, we would place it at the top of our play state. And then at which point we need to make sure in our love.load we would have the animatable before we change to the play state. So if we look at where did we used to have our animatable? Was it in our scene? We've got it in our play state. Okay, so we need to give ourselves this animatables, and this needs to be in our main.load. So now this global animatables variable is an instantiation of our animatables class, which we might declass this, but for right now, it goes ahead and initializes our flower to 1012, and then as long as we update it, it'll be updating our anim spitter to be the appropriate animations. So we do need to update this animatables. We don't have to render it, we just have to update it in our play state. Which we've got right here. So we update it here in our play state. We no longer have it here in our play state. And then do we crash? Yes, we do. On map declarations 37. So map declarations 37 is right here where we're trying to access that flower.frame. Now, that flower.frame, by the time our map declarations are loaded, let's take a look at our main. See, I thought that putting the animations instantiation right before our playstate change would mean that we have access to that flower.frame. Because we don't require our map declarations until we're in our play state. We don't change the play state until we have our animatables object, and our animatables object is what gives us a flower with a dot frame, because that's what an anim spitter is. So why do we crash? Index global flower, which is a number value. Setting that value to 1 if it's not the ID, but the frame index. Setting the value to 1. What would be setting the value to 1? Because the dot frame we were printing up. So flower dot frame is the tile ID. It should be 1012 or whatever it is to 1013 to 1014 to 1015 and then back to 1012 or whatever. So that's why we did end up printing it. So like if we go to our map declarations and instead of flower frame we just put flower, then we get a different crash. Play state 41. And in my experience with Love2d and Lua, almost all the crash tracebacks are attempt to index a nil value. 41, attempt to index global animatables, which is a nil value. So 41 play state. So did I spell it wrong? Animatables? Because our play state in our main, we should have the animatables. Yeah. So why would it be a nil value when we assign it here in our main? It should be global because we don't declare it local. Animatables update. I don't know. Did you guys see that? I didn't change anything and I ran the game again and then it worked. That doesn't make me feel good, but we're printing up the value of flower.frame right now. So it goes from 1012 to 1015 and then back. So if our play state has access to our flower, we just need to give our map declarations access to our flower.frame. See, because that's what we're printing there is our flower.frame. We just need our map declarations to have access to this. So maybe in our map declarations, see, and we can't. Actually, yeah. Maybe we do init our animatables here in the map declarations, but we only update it in our play state. And then maybe since it's local to our map declarations, it will be able to index it without being nil. And then hopefully, oh, but see, okay, so here's the problem. Okay, here is the problem because our map declarations are only once. Hey, who evolved? That's awesome. Is that you, Real Rev? That's awesome, dude. That Typhlosion's looking sick. Okay, so yeah, the problem is if we were able to put our flower.frame in our map declarations, then we still need to update our map declarations every frame in order to put in the new frame. So, shit. Yeah, and then this is what we wanted to try to avoid yesterday, which is like, you know, we'd be manually reassigning all 80 tile IDs every single frame, regardless of which ones are animating. And even if nothing, if the map has no animation, it would still be reassigning those frames. The map init and the play state loading racing to see if they are loaded in the right order. Okay. Yeah, so we might have to undo this and just kind of rethink it. What we will do is we'll add our map declarations back to our dependencies. Okay, yeah, we've got to do something different because I don't want to be updating every single value of our map declarations every frame, especially because it's 80 tile IDs times 100 maps. So that becomes a lot every single frame. So let's go ahead and that was sort of the thinking behind the looping and adding the tiles that are appropriate to a table. So you can only update the tiles in that table on update. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. Okay. So if we go along with that idea and we say we have like a placeholder animation value, like an animation enum in our map declarations table, then we cycle through. Well, we still need to be able to tell it which animation to put in there and at which interval and which tile frames those animations are, which our anim spitter takes care of. Okay, here, I'll check out the Discord. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we want to do something like this. Okay. Yep. So we have a table of all the animated tiles we got to animate. Then we go through our map ID, I guess, and we check if it's our anim enum or whatever we call it. When we can have a flower placeholder, a water placeholder, or whatever, and then we would insert. We would update like our anim spitter. We'd update that tile ID only at that location and only the correct animation. So yeah, it would be something like this. I like that. Yo, thanks for helping out, Stoken. I appreciate that. That is. with tiles to animate on scene load, it can construct it by screen only once. Yes, so that would probably be in our... You're good. Yeah, I mean, the pseudocode helps because I get what you're trying to say here. And I agree with you that our tiles to animate should only happen once in the init. So in our map init, we would know which tiles need to be animated based on whatever value. So like, I don't know if we want to put all our animated enums in a similar tile range like we're doing for our collidable map objects, but we could go through and ask, you know, compare it to the placeholder enum for our animation tile. Like we have a placeholder for flower animations and then other stuff. Yeah, well, and GPT is like very not great. I mean, it pretends it does a great job, and then if you call it out on its stuff, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, my bad, I totally messed that up. You're right." But like, you have to call him out for him to tell you that instead of it just being better. I've never tried GPT-4, but yes, I agree. Like I had Chat GPT help with the JavaScript for my Twitch bot, because I don't really JavaScript much, and it was helpful to get me that boilerplate to get that working, which is cool. I've got my Git repo here if anyone wants to check out the source code for the whole project. I just thought of that because I just put that command in my chatbot from yesterday. I can add another button for our Discord now too. And then I guess, is there a way to add a custom URL for our Discord instead of the weird stuff it is now? Okay. Gosh, yeah, we do want to... This is jacked up. I guess, like, do we even run? We do run. Now, I know our play state is jacked with our weird location of our map declaration, so we'll put our map declaration back inside of our constants. Actually, in our dependencies. Then... Oh, it is back there. Okay. Then we'll go... Okay, I just want to make sure we don't have any weird shit lingering. Let me see. Animatables in our love.load, which we can take out. If that's in our main, we got to take that out. So let's take that out. Man, I really don't care for Windows PowerShell, to be honest. It's just so slow. Loading NeoVim is like a freaking slog, which NeoVim is not slow, so I'm pretty sure it's Windows. Well, it's partly I'm on the Windows Linux subsystem on Windows PowerShell, but I haven't been a big fan of it so far. Okay, let's continue to see if we've got any other weird shit laying around. Okay. Animatables in our play state we're updating. Okay, I think that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a stab at just doing this totally different. And just see. Yeah, if we don't do our animatables, let me see. Okay, where are we? Let me put our insert animation back on for now, and let me just see if our insert animation, okay. So what if we were to, okay. So like Stilkin said, like if we had a table for the animations to insert, and we want to populate that based on whatever current map we're on, we would do something like, oh god. My Twitch browser froze. So like, let's say if we, let's just see if this idea might work. Like we'll do, okay, so if we have an animations table, I don't like that it's just animations because we have a .animations field in like 4 different spots in our game, but let's just see. You know, we give it an empty table. Now we want to be able to insert the proper frame into the proper X and Y, but only on the appropriate row and column. And we don't want to be updating this every single frame, regardless of what map row we're in. We just want to get the map row that we're currently in, insert all the appropriate animations, and then if there's a next map, go ahead and insert the animations into that one as well. Well, we've got our placeholder for that, so I'm not too worried about that. But let's see here if we can say in our map, or in our insert animation init here, and maybe we have, I guess, is it our play state that we're putting this insert animation into, or that's our map? Okay, yeah, our map has that. Okay, so this will only get called once upon a map init, which should be right. Like Stilkin was kind of saying, we only do it upon the load, so we don't have to redo it, but we have to update it every frame. So if we've got a table for all the, and I guess would the table be, it would, oh, let me think. So it would be cool, hear me out, like we've got, if our map is on 1-1, we need to run an X amount of functions, and this number would change depending on what map we're on. Some of them have no animations to insert. Some of them might have 2, like this frame. So it's almost like if we have if we know, I mean, at the end of the day, we do have to declare which animations need to be inserted, and where, but we only want to do that if it's relevant, like on our current map. And I'm not too worried about cycling through all the rows and columns of our map declarations upon one init, because if we have to do something like this where we say, hey, what's our map row and our column, then assign it in the init, that's better than it being assigned in the update here. So like, I'm not too worried about that, but I'm trying to think if we can do, like, what's the smart way to only insert the animations on the current row we're in. Like, it's almost like if we have a way where we say, like if we have a 2D array called animatables, let's just build this out. Animatables. We've got, like, let's say we've got a 2D array of animatables, so we can put our map row and our map column here. And then this is kind of the way that we are gonna be only assigning and updating the current animations that need to be inserted. So like if we're doing when you start a screen, loop through it and check if any of the tiles are a flower. If it is, add a flower along with its XY grid location. Then you don't need to hard code anything other than what a flower should do. It doesn't matter where. So we would go cycle through our map object. So our map at our current object here, we would go for I gets 1. For our 80 tiles, we would go cycle through our map object, and this is where we're going to search for the value of, say, flower, which is an animatable. And this isn't right. This would be our index I is equal to flower. And then if that tile, upon the init, if that tile is a flower, then we're going to go ahead and put into it, well, and then you're saying if it is, add flower along with its XY grid. So like, because we need to update it, you're saying like we would give it, we don't have a class that kind of add flower row column to a table. So we've got our, No. We would do table.insert into our animations table. The flower, you can create a table for each insert animation class. Okay, I guess I'm still confused on like how we're gonna be, we gotta be updating the frame, which is what our insert animation is currently handling. It's like we need this frame. This is what's updating our number for our flower frame, and then this is the actual frame that we're inserting into the location. Okay. Man, I am getting a little stumped on this. Let me see, hold on. Okay, so I guess at a bare bones level here, we've got a flowers object, which is a number that updates over time as long as we update it. And that'll be the tile that we need to insert, but we need to be able to determine where to insert and only insert it on the appropriate map. I wonder if... Okay, so like let's say we had a table, because it's like, depending on what row we're on, we want to run the insert animation function a certain amount of times or a certain amount of ways. Let me just see if we have, I'm kind of curious if we can store functions inside a table, right? So like if we had, let's say, these insert animation functions, and we know that like table dot insert into our function table the function this. So we would say function Discord invite. Why is this happening to me? Okay. So we'd have to say function this. Because I'm wondering if we can just have a, if we have a table of the table inserts for every map location. So like map 1-1, we know we need to insert, you know, because I kind of like the clarity of this, where it's saying, hey, just put in a flower animation at 2-3, but we only want to declare it once. So I'm kind of thinking like we would have table dot insert into our function table, and then we would only insert into our function table the correct functions. So like we would declare these somewhere else, but then we would ask what, you know, we have access to our current map row and column, and we would just pull a list of functions from wherever we declare which ones we need to put. Stilkin saying you want a table of each animatable tile ID with their respective lengths, and you'll have all the information to do it dynamically. So table.insert global map at index self map row self map column I, comma XY, so the location. And then I guess yeah, I guess like one thing that's still just kind of hard for me to wrap my head around is how we declare the locations for all the animations and what animations we need to put. Why is this not liking this? What did we screw up here? Can we not insert a function into a table? Table.insert function. Wow, making a game is hard, y'all. Yeah, where is our animatables still? We shouldn't be doing that. Play state 39. Oh, lordy. Okay. Wow. Does that really crash it? Why is this crashing it? Insert animation 37. Oh. We need to pass in... We are passing in an animation, so maybe... Can we really not do this? Man, I am stumped. I don't know why it's crashing here. I'm just trying to store this function into a table. See. Yeah, let's forget insert anim for the moment, and we'll just do a test function here. And I don't know what is going on here. I don't know why I can't do this. Gosh. I'm just butchering all of this. Like, I'm just trying to see if we can store a function inside a table, but I'm not even able to. We have a function called test. I guess we've got to do this. Man. If it's not apparent, I am a very much beginner programmer. Y'all. Okay, so look. We initialize test to 0, forget func. All we want to do is have a function that increments test. Okay. So we init test. We have a function called test. So in the update, we'll just say test gets updated, and then we shouldn't crash there, and we do. Insert animation, test is a number value. Okay, so test is a number value. Okay, I think we can't have the same variable as a function name. Okay, so we don't crash there. Now, can we print test at this point? We'll go to our play state. It will print test. Now I'm just curious if you can put a function in a table. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, but this is what we're trying to test. Okay, so test is getting incremented every delta time. Okay, so the question is, can we store, instead of running func, can we run a table of funcs? So we're gonna have a table of functions, and then we're gonna insert into our table of funcs. Now, let me make sure our table dot insert takes in a list first, and the list or the table is functions, our table, and what we want to insert is a func, which is just incrementing our test. So at this point, functions should have one object and it's a function. So if we run functions at our first index, that should be a function. But do we have to run it as a function like that? Wrong number of arguments to insert. Man, I don't know how to do this. We can't just insert a function into a table. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay, yeah, and part of me is just like, now I'm just curious how we get a table full of functions. So like, I'm kind of stuck on this unnecessarily so. Okay, I'll figure this out later. Okay. Function isn't a data type. Okay, well, maybe I'm just totally wrong. Okay. So we're cycling through our map row and we're checking if it's an animatable. And if so, we want to insert into our table of animatables the type of we have access to the map row and column, so we should be able to put in the flower.frame inside the map object here, like we kind of overwrite it. So like instead of it being equal to flower, oh, but then, yeah, okay, we don't want to do that. See, I don't get what you're saying here with if the second parameter is the mapped row and column. So it's like where we're going to be putting in the flowers dot frame. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the tile ID, I guess, but the thing here is like if we ask if it's equal to flower, and then we assign it the flower ID, it's only gonna, like we need a way to update the flower ID over time. I mean, we're updating the flower ID here, but does that doesn't mean that the map would get the updated value. We would just need to, so like upon the init, it would be equal to just flower. And if it's equal to just flower, then we need to insert our self.flowers.frame, which is the first frame of the anim spitter. But then we need to update every tile that has an animation. We need to update its anim spitter, but I don't really see an easy way to do that. Like this is updating the actual animation, but so we're not updating anything, we're just populating the list. Just populate the list. This method is just to create a table with the tiles and their locations. I guess the thing is, we don't really, like, our tiles are, we kind of got our tiles baked into the location here, because on our, well, there is a, what do we do in our anim spitter? No. There's a place where we kind of inferred the X location based on the quad of, no, that's not right. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Like if we just, you say we just populate the list, but that list needs to get updated over time and only in the certain locations. And you're saying you store the locations with what type of animation it is. Yeah. So I guess, does that mean we do... Okay, yeah, we don't... Our animation functions don't operate on an X and Y location, but I see what you're saying. Like our animation function only operates on a quad and a texture. So is the list you're saying to populate, is your list what you're saying to populate here? Is that the, is that different than the map declarations? Like you're saying we want to populate a table of things to update, of animations to update. We populate that list and we say, hey, at 1-1, you need a flower. And at 2-3, you need a bush. And then you'll say, yeah, let me take a look at your pseudocode again. So you're saying we populate this once upon the map init, and then maybe even outside of this function, or we name things different, then we go, our map would have a table of all of our objects to animate. And we say, hey, this object at 1-1 with a flower animation, we just go and ahead and update that one. Yeah, let me pull up my Discord again. I already lost my Discord link. Yeah, man. I mean, what's tough is like my mind was thinking about this one way, and then the stuff you're talking about actually makes more sense than my way, but my brain is still kind of hung up on this old way of thinking how to do it. Yeah, and you know what? I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek at your code in the Discord here, closer. I'll probably call it a night tonight, because it's already been 2 hours. I'll take a look at what you sent, look at all of that pseudocode, see if I can wrap my head around doing this and what it would look like to declare. Yeah, and yeah, ideally I would like to just say like, hey, this thing is a flower, so make it animate, and I don't have to worry about it ever again. Just like, that's a flower, so animate it. Like ideally that's what we want it to do. I don't so much like the idea of, I mean, I'm not worried about on the transitions, it not being animated during the transitions or anything. I'm not really worried about that. So I think I just need to think about it more, and then we'll try to tackle it. And I can't stream tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to a show. If I get off work super early, maybe I can stream tomorrow, but I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be here the next day, and we'll see if we can make some better progress here. That was a mess up here, what we were doing. So I'll take a look at Stilkin's Discord, see if I can get a better idea about how to pull this off. It is tricky. It's tricky to do it smart and in a scalable way, so I think it's worth it to just do it right and make it simple, and then we'll have it ready and done right. So that should be good. And we'll see. Yeah, and this is the sort of thing I do want. Like, if it takes us, even if it takes us 3 episodes of slogging on this crap and scratching my head over it, it being right for the rest of the game is going to be really important. And then, you know, if we set ourselves up for success, then it's going to be really easy, and we won't have to worry about animations anymore. We just place it and then move on, you know. Okay. I think I'm going to get rid of all this unnecessary stuff so I don't confuse myself. So in our playstate update, I want to get rid of some stuff. we really didn't do anything except test stuff today. So it's like we made an animatables class, but we're not using it at the moment. And I use kind of Git as a habit tracker too, so it's like, even though that's not really a good commit, I commit to kind of show that I worked 2 hours on my project, you know, so like we've got that there. But I will take a closer look at this. I'll really think about this so that we can hopefully do it right. It'll be worth it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the encouragement to do a Discord. I'll add a Git command or a chatbot command here that'll slap out that Discord link, and then we can continue talking about potential features and potential code. The pseudocode is really helpful for me to kind of wrap my head around things. So thanks, Stilkin. I appreciate you helping out. And I'll catch you not tomorrow, but I'll be back Thursday. So Thursday, 7 p.m. is the next stream. And I'll see y'all then.